hear this phrase again and again and again, and you start to use it over your life. Oh, I have imposter syndrome. And I'm like, you don't have imposter syndrome. You're just experiencing self-doubt. You may be nervous, you may be anxious, but you're not a fraud. Like, imposter syndrome literally implies that you are a fraud. The more you tell yourself that, the more you minimize yourself, and you don't even believe that you're worthy of entering these rooms.
T-minus 10 seconds.
Welcome to the Journey to Launch podcast with your host, Jamila Souffrant. As a money expert who walks her talk, she helps brave journeyers like you get out of debt, save, invest, and build real wealth. Join her on the journey to launch to financial freedom in
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, journeyers. Welcome to the Journey to Launch podcast. I am your host, Jamila Souffrant. Now, I'm so excited to bring you this week's episode of the podcast. It's going to be a little different because I am sharing a conversation, an episode from another podcast, the Brown Ambition podcast with Mandy Money. I was a guest on that show with my sisters, Shaina McGregor and Imani Manning. And so I am sharing that conversation that aired on Mandy's show, Brown Ambition, on this show. She was nice enough to let me also use the audio recording. And so what you'll hear is a conversation between myself and my sisters and Mandy talking about entrepreneurship, growing up together, and our journey thus far. Now, I've had both my sisters, Shayna and Imani, on the podcast before. So the first time they both appeared on the podcast was on episode 221. So that was back. That's actually ironic because it's episode 221 and it was back in 2021. So a few years ago. And we were talking just about, well, I introduced them to you guys as my audience, but we were talking just about entrepreneurship, and they were really getting started with launching their entrepreneurship careers and figuring things out. So if you want to kind of hear where they started and what that was about, so you can compare their journey today, go check out that episode 221. I will link it in the episode show notes. And then I also had Imani back on the podcast most recently in November of 2024, episode 401, where she was giving updates about her financial journey. So she was over at my house. We were just, she was being auntie and hanging out with the kids, and we started talking about money. And I wanted to have like this kind of conversation with her. So I said, why not record it? And so she shared some really, I think, relatable updates back on that episode. And so now this conversation, I was happy to do because Mandy approached me, and you'll hear it in the tee-up that she does, but she approached me and wanted me back on her show because I've been on the show a couple times just as she's been on this show before. And she was like, you know what, let's bring your sisters on, because she met them at my book launch party and has been around them a little bit. And so I was like, yes, because anytime that I can share the spotlight and put my sisters and my family on, I'm going to do that. And so I was really just excited for her audience to get to know them, and then hopefully you guys to get to know them a bit more, because they are truly, truly talented. And so I hope you enjoy this episode. All right, let's get into it. If you want the episode show notes for this episode, go to journeytolaunch.com or click the description of wherever you're listening to this episode. In the show notes, you'll get the transcribed version of the conversation, the links that we mentioned, and so much more. Also, whether you are an OG journeyer or brand new to the podcast, I've created a free jumpstart guide to help you on your financial freedom journey. It includes the top episodes to listen to, stages to go through to reach financial freedom, resources, and so much more. You can go to journeytolaunch.com/jumpstart to get your guide right now. Okay, let's hop into the episode.
Hey, PA fam, it's your girl, Mandy Money. Welcome back to another episode of the show. This is a special one. This is one that's probably been a couple of years in the making, at least a year in the making, ever since the day that I realized Jamila Souffrant, friend of the show, host of the Journey to Launch podcast, author of Your Journey to Financial Freedom book, that she is just one of 3 incredible powerhouse sisters. And I was like, I have to get you and your sisters on Brown Ambition. We have to talk about this sisterhood. We have to talk about y'all's journey as sisters, as entrepreneurs. as all the things. And she said yes. They all said yes. And we made it work. All three of the sisters showed up. We have Jamila Souffrant, of course. We also have her little sister, Shayna McGregor, and the third sister, Imani Manning. Each of these women is carving out their own incredible path. And together, they are redefining what resilience, entrepreneurship, and family support look like. Jamila, who is the big sister of the trio, is a financial freedom expert. As I mentioned, she's the author of Your Journey to Financial Freedom. She's inspired people everywhere to dream bigger than their cubicle and take control of their money. While Shayna is the creative genius. She's a professional dancer who's turned wellness coach and is now building her brand Inward Space while pursuing her master's in social work. And Imani, listen, it's hard because we don't have smell-o-vision. I can't put you back at the event where Jamila had her book launch, where I tasted Imani's food for the first time, but it's so good. Imani is a culinary queen who's serving up gourmet meals for kids while running her own catering business. We're going to talk about their journeys, how they've overcome challenges, how they've embraced pivots and supported each other along the way. From financial wins to career shifts and lessons in giving yourself grace. This conversation is packed with wisdom that you don't want to miss. So grab your coffee, glass of wine, grab a basket of laundry, whatever y'all do on your own time when you're listening to the show. That's your business, not my business, okay? But let's dive on in. Hey, VA fam. I am your host, Mandy Woodruff-Santos. Welcome back to the Brown Table at Brown Ambition. I am thrilled to get these ladies back together. I feel like I have brought back like Destiny's Child, you know, like in a way. I'm like three powerful women who started off together, grew up together, and have launched their own successful careers. And Jamila, you sort of started it all. So I'll introduce you first. You know her because she has been a multi-time guest on Brown Ambition. We love Jamila, author of Journey to Launch, also the same name of her podcast, which she's been doing since 2017.
Wait, so Mandy, the book is Your Journey to Financial Freedom, and the podcast is Journey to Launch. I know a lot of.
Now, why did you do that? Why didn't you just? It's more like your fault than my fault, is what I feel like. But okay.
Well, the book is right behind me. That's Your Journey to Financial Freedom.
And this is true, but I can only see a little corner. Okay.
Oh, okay. All right.
I took a risk and I failed. It's fine. BA fam loves it. That's fine. All right. Your Journey to Financial Freedom, which has been out for, you just had your year celebration, right? Your year anniversary in December.
Yeah. So a little bit over a year now.
Yeah. She got a toddler book, but I know how hard you worked on that, and I'm so proud of you. But Journey to Launch, the podcast where you talk about how to find your financial freedom and how to, you talk about your guac, what was it, your guac budget?
Guac levels.
Your guac
like
levels.
What kind of life you want to live. Yep.
It's such a great book. Like if you are someone who, like maybe you even have a base level of financial knowledge, but you want to retire early, you want to figure out how to find your own financial freedom. Love that book. But it wasn't until your book launch that I put the connections together that Shaina McGregor is your sister. Shayna and I had met at a separate event, but that's when I started to see, like, these are not just like, oh, this is my little sister. You were the MC for the book launch. You did a fantastic job. I was like, is she also famous? Like, I don't understand. Then I started talking to you about your background. You come from a dance background, a life coach. You had a life coach practice. I'm going to get an update now because I know in this original interview that y'all did together on Jamila's podcast, you talked about launching that. You had just started. And I'm excited to get the lowdown on that. And then at the same event, you just can smell like it's not a huge venue, but like you can look straight to the back and I just see this gorgeous spread of food. And this is not a crudité. This ain't like some ranch dip and a chip and some cucumber slices. This was delicious. You had some seafood there. I like my proteins, the most amazing food. And then I'm like, who made this food? Jamila just casually says, oh, my sister, Imani. She's just like, I don't know, a Michelin award-winning chef. I made that up.
Yes, no, keep it. I love that made up. I love it. Speak it.
And then I didn't have as much time to talk to you, but I just left that event thinking like, well, damn, these 3 women from the same family are all incredible in their own right. And that's when I started to think about having y'all on the show. But for whatever reason, it took me this long to finally make it happen. But welcome. What do I call you? What's your family name? Do you have a family name? What's y'all's like group name?
If you want to hyphenate it, I mean, we can go through our family tree a bit, but you can just, I don't know. What do you want?
I know things can get messy. Okay, I got some halves, some holes, like some steps that are no longer steps. Like it's fine.
Let's hear the made-up name that you came up with. You look like you have one.
Who, Mandy or me?
Mandy looked like she had one.
Right?
Oh no,
Yeah,
I don't.
she looked like she had one but she just don't want to say it. Let's hear it.
What would the band be called? The band, it's got to have 3 in it. The Triple Threat Sisters.
That works.
The Triple Threats. Yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Jamila, I want to start with you. Tell me the story of your journey to financial freedom and building your podcast. And when did you like suck your sisters into this life of entrepreneurship? How has that been? Because my siblings don't listen to me at all. So I'm just
they listened when So okay, I think we should go first to the family tree, and then we'll quickly go to like my backstory, because I do want to highlight them and all the amazing things they're doing. And so let's see. Shayna and I share the same mom. That's how we're sisters. And so it's just the 2 of us for my mom. Then Imani and I share the same dad. And it's so funny because Imani, I always forget how many siblings we know of. So I was writing it down.
You do that 23andMe, you get surprised.
Right. So Imani and I have the same dad, and but all of us together, there's 7 of us that we know of that share the same dad. And so that's kind of like how we're all siblings. And then the way we work as a family, though, Imani and Shayna just they're siblings, just by that's how we work as a family. So they're sisters too. Yeah. And I'm the second oldest of my dad. In general, I'm just the biggest sister. I'm the big sister to everyone.
Okay.
I never realized that.
I'm big sis. I was born on the beautiful island of Jamaica, and I came here to the United States, to New York specifically, when I was just under 2 years old. And so ultimately, I think what was amazing about growing up and kind of having the Jamaican background and roots is that because my father, if you didn't figure out yet, was Jamaican, and he was in Jamaica, most of my siblings from him were all in Jamaica. And so I used to go back every summer and spend summers there, and that's how I met my siblings. And luckily, even though my father wasn't that involved in my life, my mom and his family were very close, so she would be able to send me, and that's kind of how I got this connection with my father's side of the family and my siblings, where it really feels like we grew up together because I saw them every summer. Like I was the big sister who was in America that came down and all this stuff. And then Shayna and I, of course, we were just in New York together with my mom. But ultimately, I was always like independent, wanted to live life on my own terms. And then, life happens where you realize you need to work to get money. And as a true Jamaican, I started working from the age of 14 and have been working ever since, and did all the right things, went to college, bought a condo when I was pretty young, right out of college, got a full-time job. But ultimately, I know that's not what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I wanted freedom. And it wasn't until my early 30s that I said to myself on this long commute to work, to this cubicle that I did not enjoy or love, I needed something different. And it prompted me to search for ways to quit my job, find financial freedom. And I found podcasts, blogs talking about financial independence, was like, how can I get on that train? How can I learn more? And I started to learn over the years, eventually started my own blog and podcast, Journey to Launch, where I was documenting how I was going to quit my job and retire early, which eventually led to me quitting my job early, writing a book that hopefully is helping people do the same, think about their life bigger than the car and the cubicle, about what they really want. And that's kind of like where I am today. And then with my sisters, they can tell you about their journey. But honestly, I think they've always also been entrepreneurs at heart and free spirits. So it doesn't surprise me that they're in the fields that they're in.
I love it. Can y'all tell me, as Jamila is telling her story, because y'all are little sisters, what was it like? And y'all have such different perspectives. Imani, you're watching this happen from Jamaica. Shayna, you're here next to her. What was your impression? Like, were you like, I don't know what's going on with Jamila? Like, she done quit her job. I don't know what's going on. Like, were you worried? Was it like, oh yeah, I always knew? What was that like for y'all?
I'll hop in. I think growing up, Jamil and I have an age gap that's over 10 years. Now I feel like
What?
we're best of buds. But growing up, she was like, who is this little girl in that house right now? I'm trying to live my best life. So I feel like growing up, she
Okay.
was always, I'm going to toot her own horn a little bit, but she was always like a role model to me. I saw her as this really cool older sister that was just doing incredible things. I wasn't surprised before her job because she told us she was like starting to fall asleep on the wheel while she was pregnant, and we were like, okay, I think some
Yeah.
changes need to be had because like your safety is
That
at
probably
risk.
shouldn't happen.
That probably shouldn't happen, but our family was always money conscious. So I feel like the reason why people are like, you listen to your older sister. I mean, granted, she went to college, graduated, and bought a condo. Yes, I'm gonna listen. I was like, wait,
Listen.
what did she do and how can I do exactly that?
Mm.
Granted, she took the corporate route. I took the very creative route. So it was strikingly different, but there was something that she did that worked. And I think for Jamila, that a lot of us use in different ways is a discipline. And I feel like that discipline and motivation can take you anywhere. And I saw that she was so focused and also saw that she was willing to take risk. It's not easy to have a really cushiony corporate job and then decide to leave because you are excited about something and you're allowing yourself to pivot. So I think I saw that, and I've been able to take parts of that in my own journey of being able to take risks, but also knowing when to be patient and to delay gratification, and then also knowing when it's time to pivot. And I've taken pieces of those into my own journey as well.
What about you, Imani? Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Shayna.
Yeah.
I mean, I think me and Shayna, we have the same view, but just from a different angle. Like, and even being in Jamaica, I think it was probably 10 times more exciting as Shayna because you in Jamaica, you growing up in the country, and yes, your sister, and at the time she was doing that gymnastic stuff, so she would flip for us, and we would think it was the
Jamila would?
cool. Yeah, we think it was the coolest
Oh,
stuff
were you like
ever.
one of those kids who was like, and now welcome to the Jamila show?
She,
I did gymnastics. So when I was younger, so when I used to go to Jamaica, they were like, do a cartwheel.
so yeah, I would say like from then it was much more like it was like star quality. Like, you know what? Yeah, even one time I wanted to cartwheel too. I was like, I'm gonna do some cartwheel too. So I think she have always like, I don't think sometimes she purposely knowing that she's setting the tone for everybody, but it comes so natural. So it's so easy. As Shayna said, like, why wouldn't you listen? Why wouldn't I not take an ounce of advice? And it's right in front of me. So she's always been that. Like, it's not new. I don't think it's new to us now.
That's so nice to hear. I mean, so I guess y'all don't have that jealous sibling bone like I did. Because I was an older sister and my little brother was always nipping at my heels. And I'm like, no, I'm going to do that for like, there's a bit of like competitiveness. But, I've worked through that in therapy. I'm glad that you guys are really happy for your sis. But Imani, Shayna, y'all developed, like Shayna, your career in dance, it didn't go the way that you planned. I mean, you were like a real dancer, professional dancer. You thought you would like work for a company potentially, Alvin Ailey or something like that. So, but the last time y'all spoke, you were like, you had made peace with that and you had seen what this new chapter could hold for you. So what did that at the time, a few years ago, you were launching your life coaching business and maybe some other side hustles? I'm not sure. But can you catch us up?
Yes,
What's it
it's
like
so
now?
funny. I'm still dancing. So I think right now I just really chalk it up to when I talk to people about how exciting it is to be multi-passionate and that it's okay to go after these different parts of ourselves. And you don't have to put yourself in a box. You may not do the thing the way you thought you were going to do it. And every season, you're not going to do everything 100%. But there's ways to enforce everything. So this past weekend, I actually flew to Detroit with Ailey to teach with the Ailey experience. And I was a teacher. So Ailey has a lot of different parts to it. When you think of Ailey, everyone immediately thinks of Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater, which is the company. But there's also the Ailey extension, which Mr. Ailey always believed that dance is for the people and should be brought back to the people. So they have parts of the organization that is really heavy in teaching and education. So I would say that I both dance and I do the wellness part, which wellness is inclusive in somatic and dance. In terms of dance, I've been performing, so I decided to really base around project-based work and do projects that speak to me. So it's not as full time as a company that I'm going to be with all the time. But if there are projects that I can perform with throughout the year, then I'll do that. Along with that, I've been teaching and choreographing a bit more. So the teaching side is what brought me to Detroit with the Alien experience. And I also have shows that are premiering this weekend because I've been choreographing on the extension dancers for the last 8 weeks. And that has been very exciting. Like my younger self, I wanted to dance and I wanted to tour. And now I'm touring as an instructor. So you just don't know what that could look like when you're younger. And then I'm still doing the coaching. I've given it a name and I've called my wellness community and brand Inward Space. And it's just really designed to help people slow down, reconnect with themselves, and to live lives of joy and intention. But along with that, I decided to go back to school. So I'm getting my master's in social work because I wanted to add therapy to my services as well alongside coaching. I think coaching is absolutely wonderful and there's a space for therapy and coaching. So the power of the pivot and allowing yourself to expand. There's been a lot of shifts since the last episode. I listened to it right before this and I was like, wow.
You did. What did you think? Were you like, oh man, she didn't even know? What did you think?
Gosh. I was proud of myself. And I think I've done so much work to not only think about the points where I didn't do enough, but also to look at something and be like, wow, look at that version of myself. I'm so proud. She was so ambitious, so hungry. I mean, she was talking about being a millionaire by 30. I thought, okay, let's, the trajectory. But what I thought about is that we don't always know how the different versions of ourselves lead up to what we're doing now. And I think every chapter of my 20s has prepared me for this version of my late 20s that's doing all the things that I'm really excited about. But I needed to go through all of those different versions. So when people see me speak now, they're like, wow, how are you able to show up in this way? It's because I was a fitness instructor for so many years. I'm a dance teacher. I'm a choreographer. I did my first panel last week or a couple of weeks ago on a woman in wellness panel. All of those different versions of me were able to make me stand in the place I am now. So I was very excited and proud of myself watching that back. Yeah.
And sorry, Mandy, I just have to step in because I just want to big up and highlight some of Shayna's accomplishments. If you listen to the first or on my podcast, you know this, but just in case this is your first time. So Shayna went to the famed LaGuardia High School. I mean, this is like a big deal. Like,
oh damn, Nicki Minaj,
right? Like, you have to audition to get in. It's Fame, right? The musical or the show was based on that high school. But then she went to Fordham for college in the Alvin Ailey program, right? That's where you graduated from. So
yeah, Ailey Fordham BFA program. Yeah.
Yes. And she mentioned she does this work with Ailey, but she was also mentioned in the New York Times recently, right?
Yes, one of my students. Yes, they were doing like a day in the life. And once people take my class, so I teach twice a week at the Ailey Extension. I teach contemporary classes. And I will say, once people take my class once, they're hooked. Because it's not just about movement, it's about the space I create. And I think we all need a space to unwind, to feel. And dance is such an incredible place to do that. And as we get older, we create so much more shame around our bodies, about trying new things, around being around people who maybe are strangers. So I try to create a safe space in my classes for people to just explore and express themselves.
See? Yeah, so I just wanted to make sure we said that. Yes.
Oh, you're such a proud big sis. I can feel the energy.
See? This is why we listen to her.
Yes.
Because, yeah, I mean, that's so, I do know that sibling relationships, I'm fortunate to have two siblings that I am super close with, a younger brother and an older sister. And I think all the time how lucky we are. And not that we didn't work for it, because I think we had, over the course of our childhoods and early, like we had so many opportunities to just be like, nah, I'm going to go like figure myself out other places. But we came back to each other again and again. And we've been through so much, and there's just nothing like a sibling. Like you really see someone through so many stages of life, and then you get to see and like, you know what little baby Shayna looked like, probably because you were like 10 when she was born. You're like, girl, I used to wipe your butt. And now
No.
you're out here.
Hey, fun fact, I never changed a diaper for Shayna. I literally was that big sister, like, who is this little kid?
You're
Like,
poor
I
mom.
want no parts.
Man, the way I make my 5-year-old fetch me diapers and wipes he's not actually doing it, but I will see how long I can sit on the couch without moving. How many errands will he run for me? I love it. Just the good vibes. Okay, so Imani, your food. Have I mentioned how delicious it is? And I only had that one experience, but I am that kind of person. Food holds a lot of memory for me. And I believe, like at my wedding, I wanted the food to be so delicious. And to this day, they still talk about my wedding, but the food. And I think that's why they remember it. The same way I remember your book event so vividly. I think the food is tied to that. So can you, just to like give you your flowers, can you talk about your journey? Because it's not easy to make a career out of cooking, especially when you are wanting to move to a different country. So catch me up on what the past few years have been like for you building this career.
The past few years, so now I work in the educational system where I still cook, but I get to, acknowledge and be around kids. And that's something that I've always wanted to do. Like, how can I like pair food with being around kids? And I feel like I got locked up and I'm in a great job right now that where we give kids like restaurant style quality food. And kids will give us their most honest opinion. A kid won't lie to you about the food. And I will tell you that feeding kids might be a little bit harder than adults. It is.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, Jamila, I'm just like, yes.
For
I feel like it helps you grow in a way which people be like, sometimes it's hard to understand, but a kid, you can make a dish and feel like you done did your best. And a kid would look at you and be like, Chef Imani, this ain't it. And you'd be like, what? Like, what? But then you realize that I feel like kids hold you to a higher accountability than grown-ups. So if you give them a quality food Monday, they want it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. There is no excuse because they don't know the dynamic of a kitchen. So you giving them an excuse is like, yeah, they're not trying to hear that. So I feel like I kind of locked up on pairing something that I really like, which is cooking. And I've always had a love for kids, but didn't want to be a teacher. So now I feel like I'm just in a good spot with it. So yeah.
That is such a green flag for a human when they say they love kids, like, because of course they're the best. And also I was a huge red flag.
I mean, not to cut you, you could say that a lot when you don't have kids of your own. So I think that's why, yeah.
Oh no, I have them and I still like them, shockingly enough. So wait, talk about, because my friend worked for a nonprofit. What was it? Something about a rabbit or something in New York. And it was gourmet lunches for schools. Is that similar to what you're doing now?
Yes, similar.
Okay.
Similar.
So how does that work? Because like, I'm just talking about, I had the square pizza when I was growing up. You had your fruit cocktail, dry hamburgers. Like that was my vibe. But
so I think
Yes.
what our main goal is just trying to have kids understand food a little bit more, because I feel like when you understand food, you tend to eat better. Like most kids, you have kids that shockingly like they don't know what a broccoli is. So you're feeding and teaching at the same time. And then like kids like my cafeteria, sometimes like a kid would be like, Chef, I don't want veggies. And I'd be like, hey, try it. It make you see better. For real? And they go eat it. Oh, it make your hair grow. Like stuff like that. Just educating them about like certain stuff. It is like a good feeling while doing the same quality of cooking that I enjoy to do. Like the level of cooking is not dropping, but I get to dabble in a little different environment, which is pretty
cool. A lot of
cool.
customers every day. So do you work at one school or do you serve many schools?
So yes, now I serve like 3 schools, so 3 outside schools and then my in-house school. So like even yesterday, the menu was, I think they had teriyaki chicken, garlic rice, and spicy broccoli. Like those are the stuff that the kids they get on their menu. So
Do you
yeah.
like deliver to work from home moms at all?
Right.
Like,
And to my kids' school so they can have
You
some
know, that might be a business venture, you know.
Jamila,
Food
you used
to-
to get food made for your family for a minute when you were working on that book.
did a couple years ago. We had someone who would just bake us or make us the bulk meals for the week. But I want Imani to also share. So I know you do that. That's like your main thing, but you also still do
And I
catering
still
on
do,
the
yeah.
side.
Yeah, I still do my catering on the side. And
Yeah.
as Shayna was saying, like with me, like I've granted myself that space to feel like balancing both working and just the two. I work for a black owned company. So what I do is I look at the company that I work at and like, you know, put pointers towards my own business because I am a black owned business too while working for a black owned business. So, you know, it helps to balance out both gigs. Like I have a catering coming up for like 200 people. So, you know, I do little on and off here and there, and it still keeps me in tune with my dishes because I'm not changing the quality of cooking. So from gourmet right into gourmet.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but like in restaurant business, because I've watched The Bear, so like I'm an expert now. And you work so late, like you're there from like 4 p.m. and you'll be there like maybe even earlier, but like super late. So does the school environment give you better hours? Like, are you able to?
I mean, so
have a better
that was
balance there?
part of the reason why I took the job. It was so the job still allows me to find time to not neglect my business,
Yeah.
but still learning more stuff at the same time. So it's a win-win situation. You're making an income and I'm learning, and it's fine-tuning me for my side gig. So that was honestly one of the main reason why I took the job working there of the hours.
I love that. And I mean, for you two, Shayna and Jamila, like just to acknowledge that, I mean, there has been times in the past year when I've been like, should I be on LinkedIn looking for one of these good like 9-to-5s? Because I'm talking about stability is, I mean, even though no job, I don't believe any job is stable. They can all, obviously, what we're going through right now, even the government ain't good government jobs anymore. But I think that's so wise. And you're right. I think if we just have realistic pictures of what entrepreneurship can look like in this country, we need more of that, right, Jamila? Like,
Yeah, listen, I'm with you, Mandy. I mean, I feel like for me, I love my freedom and flexibility. My goal, you know, I never thought that I never wanted to take over the world with Journey to Launch or my business. It's not that I didn't have big aspirations, because you guys who know me know I dream big and I want things. But I think from the stage and place I am in my life, especially my kids' ages, like I'm happy with where I am, but more stability would be great, right? And being an entrepreneur, you just don't know when things are coming in, and it's a lot of eat what you kill, and there's no boss. So even though I hated having a boss and hated someone telling me what to do, sometimes when someone told you what to do, it alleviated the responsibility of having to figure things out. Yes. And so I would say, while I love being an entrepreneur, and I do think that it's a great vehicle to have the time freedom that we want, it adds a lot more pressure and stress when you need income to kind of live the life you want, live the guac lifestyle that I talk about. Because, you know, if I didn't want to maybe spend as much money, I could just chill and be okay. But I do want to do certain things with my kids and live this life. And so income is a requirement. And I think one of the things that I have, you know, grown to just accept over time is that no matter where you are, whether you're listening to this or watching, and you're an entrepreneur or you have a stable job, the other side always looks a little appealing for the benefits of the other side. But then when you're on the other side, you're looking at it like, dang, I kind of want that too. And so I love, especially for Imani, which is why I'm so proud of her too, for finding the stability, because for so long she didn't have like a stable where she could get benefits and stability, is that she's able to have that and have time to pursue her entrepreneurial things. And Shayna, same thing. I know she's working towards more stability, but she's also still able to pursue her, you know, passions and all the things that she can do. So I think talking about entrepreneurship and being real about it is important, because it's not just all, you know, free time and doing nothing. Like there is a lot that goes into it that people need to be aware of before they make the leap.
100%. My little brother actually is a filmmaker, and he works 9 to 5 as head of sales for an AI software company. And he always jokes with me, where he's like, yeah, Mandy, I just did what you did, but I decided I wanted to like have a house and I wanted to be able to afford things. Where I sort of had that starving artist mentality as I was a writer, journalist, and then I did have a stable career. But then when I went entrepreneur, I was like, all right, let's go.
I stopped even using that. I was like, okay, I don't want to call myself a starving artist, but that means that sometimes you have to make choices. And this is one of the biggest choices why I decided to go back to school. I was like, I want more stability. As I forward think and think about my 30s and the life I want to live, the freedom, the flexibility, maybe I do want to have a stable job along with everything else, or just build more of a career for myself so that I can do the things that I want to do. And that's what really propelled me to go back to school. Also to see dance more than just performing, but to bring in the teaching and the choreographing, which can give you more opportunities and more money. I remember I choreographed for the Ailey School last summer, and when they sent me the check, I was like, oh, okay. Like, so choreographing is where it's at. Got it. So I think it's giving yourself a opportunity and permission to expand. And my younger self was like, I'm not a choreographer. And I think we put ourselves in boxes so easily because we think if I do that, then I'm no longer this. And what if you could do this and that?
Yeah.
So I think it was giving myself opportunity to go back to school. When I tell people that, they're like, oh, you're MFA? And I'm like, no, I'm getting my master's in social work. And that does mean that for these next 2 years, things would look a little different. But once I graduate, I already know, okay, this is the career path that I have for myself. I am in grad school full time. I'm at an unpaid internship. So I know that things are going to look a little different during this time period, but it's just this season. And I'm setting myself up so that this next season brings the stability, but I have the flexibility now to do all the different things so that by the time I graduate, I have my wellness community set up. So maybe that becomes my private practice. And I already have these people who are following me in this way, who once I open up this thing are ready to go. So it's like the different building blocks. Yeah.
Into studying it with no experience doing it.
Exactly. It's funny you bring that up. I think I recently did a panel and we spoke about imposter syndrome. And I think so many of us, you hear this phrase again and again and again, and you start to use it over your life. Oh, I have imposter syndrome. And I'm like, you don't have imposter syndrome. You're just experiencing self-doubt. You may be nervous. You may be anxious, but you're not a fraud. Like imposter syndrome literally implies that you are a fraud. The more you tell yourself that, the more you minimize yourself and you don't even believe that you're worthy of entering these rooms. And yes, when I got my life coaching certification and I'm 24 years old and I'm working with people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, you have to believe that you're worthy of being there and that I have something to share that they can benefit from. And it does take confidence, but that's where the experience and education comes in. So that, yeah, I can sit with you. You may be 20 years my senior, but I truly believe that I have something to offer you. Same thing now in my internship where I am working as a case manager right now, but then my next year will be more clinical and I may have clients in their 60s. And I'm like, I know I can still speak to you, even though I might look like I'm 12. I'm not. And I trust myself and I know what I have to offer. I think as women, that confidence is so important because we take ourselves out of situations too often. And this administration is already trying to do that. We can't do that before they do.
Hey, journeyers, if you are loving this podcast, then you will love my book, Your Journey to Financial Freedom, a step-by-step guide to achieving wealth and happiness. I wrote this book for you. This book is for you if you want a clear and enjoyable path to having more money, options, and a rich life. This book is for you if you hate your commute and the fact that you need to seek approval or permission from a boss. I hated that when I worked. This book is for you if you weren't born into wealth, you didn't marry rich, or win the lottery, but you still want freedom. This book is for you if you're at a crossroads, a major decision or event is imminent. Maybe a career change, marriage, starting a family. Pressures are reaching a tipping point, and the discomfort and the desire for more can no longer be ignored. And this book is for you if you find yourself zoned out at meetings, looking out the window or daydreaming about the life you truly want. So go pick up Your Journey to financialfreedom.com so I can show you how to map out how to get from where you are today to where you ultimately want to be and enjoy the journey while you're on the path. Head over to yourjourneytofinancialfreedom.com to see where you can pick the book up. It's available on Amazon, bookshop.org, Barnes & Noble, your local bookstore, everywhere. Go to yourjourneytofinancialfreedom.com to get the book now.
I'm really excited for you too. I feel like dance is so therapeutic. I'm not a trained dancer, but when I need to release something, I will spin around this house. I will pliat. I don't plie because I don't know what that is technically. I'll just pliat. I'll do whatever. Like it just, and if you can, and it just makes perfect sense to me, you know, and you can use it with kids and all ages, and to have like a dance studio that ties in the mental health and like breath work. And I think that's really exciting.
Because we're so used to breathing so shallowly in our chest, and I try to get people to breathe more deeply into their diaphragm, and it makes
Sometimes
such
I'm just
a
trying to look
difference.
skinny on camera, you know, like I don't want to. Let's be honest.
And I think the dance, a lot of people feel like you have such great posture, and I'm like, oh, it's from dance. It's from how you carry yourself, how you, you know. But
Shayna
the
made
two
me-
mesh so beautifully. Yeah.
I think Imani and I both need like some trap massages because I do the same thing. I'm like,
I just think I'm like, open up the shoulder blades, take deep breaths.
This is the kitchen on my back right now. This is the kitchen, like, you know. Yeah.
That's the weight of like 500 6-year-olds on your back, probably.
No, more like 800.
800.
Yeah.
And what are the ages? You didn't mention.
From first kindergarten to I do up the account that I'm on now. It goes up to I think 6th grade.
Okay. Oof.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I want to get your take too. Can you talk a bit about that and how you are, how you're approaching like the vision you have for your life and how it may be different?
I mean, recently what I've started doing that I'm finding out is working. I started giving myself grace. Like, you know, sometimes we set like time periods for our success. And if the time period run out, we just, you're not successful. You're a loser. Like, I stopped doing that. Like, I start like just celebrating my very small wins, because then it gives you that energy to be like, all right, next win now. Then the next win, like, not because it's small doesn't mean it doesn't deserve a celebration. So I think I've been giving myself a lot of grace, and just every little celebration, just take it one step at a time and just know that, hey, even if you're in a moment right now where you feel like, because sometimes I think I was having this conversation with Jamelia earlier, like I mentioned, like sometimes people have like writer's block. I feel like sometimes it's okay, like for me to have like a little bit of entrepreneurship block. Doesn't mean that I still don't want to own this big restaurant or this, but sometimes I feel like we move faster than our brain is trying to align us to move. And if I'm moving faster than my brain, the plan is not going to work out because we're not on the same page. And I think now I'm just, even if it doesn't look like a win to somebody on the outside, if I'm happy and I'm giving myself a round of applause, I could have a party for myself with my celebration. And I know that like, this is it. So I think when I started to do that, my clarity for what I really want got wider. It got clearer. Like, it's not a whole bunch, because sometimes I feel like we got a whole bunch of jumbled dreams and we're not following like that path. So I feel like since I took the step back, start giving myself some grace, it's getting clearer. Like I could be like, it's like I'm seeing the 1, then the 2, then the 3. Before it was just like all the numbers, but it wasn't in specific order. So now I'm just trying to, and again, watching some of Shayna stuff, I've been watching that inward space stuff. It's like, and I think that's something that you have to give yourself grace. Like I've been cooking strongly for probably over a good 27 years. And within my career, I never start
But you're only like
seeing
27 years old. All of you guys are like 25, right?
Thank you. That's a nice compliment.
It's just true.
I didn't think I start like reaping and seeing the rewards that I deserve until probably like a good 15 years. Imagine how long I've been cooking, putting my all in. It really takes like and it go back to saying like just finding something that you naturally love to do. Like, yes, I want money to pay my bills. Yes, I want to do this, but do I actually love being in the kitchen? Yes. So when I have these moments and stuff is not going good or money is, it doesn't stop me from wanting to be that same bright visionary in the kitchen, because I'm not really leading with money, even though that's what I want. I'm not leading with it. I got to the point where I literally start listening to my body. I never did. So if my mind is telling me, hey, Imani, slow down, don't take that catering, I won't take it. And
you
I
don't
won't
have to, because
and
you
I
have,
won't feel bad about it.
yeah.
And I feel like the fact that I'm in the position to decline a catering, that's a win. Because I'm not saying like it, you know, it's not rich or we're not at the final goal where we want to be, but I've been learning to be okay with just pausing. Like I'll just pause. And
what was it
yeah.
like? Well, I want to, a little breath work now.
Yeah.
I'm really curious, because your life experience is so different to your sisters a bit, because you grew up mostly in Jamaica. You've been here for how long? You said 10 years?
Yeah, probably. Sometime I'll be forgetting.
I was telling her before y'all got on that she chose the wrong 10 years, but hey, if you want some of this, I'm curious with this conversation about immigration, all of that, like what is it like for you coming here and building a life? Did you already have some like status here? Have you had to build
I
it?
mean, the good thing about this, which a lot of people don't know, like my story is like the opposite of Jamila. So I was born in New York and I was raised in Jamaica. So I lived in Jamaica for years with Social Security. I had that in Jamaica, but I didn't came back to America until I probably was like 19, like somewhere around that age. So I was a citizen, so it was easier for me to travel. So thank God I didn't have to go through that part. Yes.
Interesting. Okay. And Jamila, that story you tell about your mom, and she had to move here without you, and then went back and got you.
Yeah, I mean, so my mom, my grandfather at the time, he's passed away since, but he had only filed for her, didn't know I was even around. That's how involved he was in her life. And when he came to tell her, he was like, oh, like, who's this baby? Because I only have papers for you to go to the States. And so she did have to make a really difficult choice, but not unlike many parents and people do make and have made to get their families here, like they leave family behind. And so she left me as a baby with my grandmother, and then things were simpler back then and apparently easier, quote unquote, like things were faster to get through the system. So they quickly filed for me, and then I don't know, I forgot how long it took, but a few months later, maybe it was like 12 months, I got my papers. I was able to come up with my grandmother and my uncle to the States to be reunited with my mom. And I feel very privileged. I think that's one of the things. So we have other siblings, Imani and I, through our dad, that we're not privileged to have been born in the United States. And I say that because it did provide a lot more opportunities, whether it was me being able to have citizenship so early or Imani being born with citizenship. I have a lot of, all my siblings are talented. I believe, I think they're amazing. And they are doing great within their own right. But I also know that, there's opportunity here. And if they were able to come here, they could probably, expand and have more security. And so I never take that for granted. It's actually something that I was aware of growing up, that I did have siblings in Jamaica, and I did feel a responsibility.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. That's some big sis energy right there. Yeah. I wanted to ask about, just to clarify something and just like to underline this point, right now, we're at a stage where the government wants to end birthright citizenship. So Imani, like if it had been now when you were born here, like, I mean, it's not officially like a policy change, but it's crazy to think someone as talented as you might have been withheld from having that opportunity if things were a bit different.
And what's crazy is, just say if it were to happen, I think I have the mentality that I have now is I'm going to be great regardless of where I'm at, Jamaica, America. That's just how I look at it now. And I mean, I am grateful that I had the opportunity to just buy a ticket and come to America. A lot of people don't have that. So, but I mean, as I said, the mentality that I have now, it could be Jamaica, wherever. I'm still gonna be that shining star Imani. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yes, I think that goes for we gotta. I feel like we're at a time now where America's losing its shine, and I'm like, good, humble her, humble her. I want every other. I don't. We need other countries like to. There are so many shining stars, obviously, outside of here, and I'm just glad we're lucky to have you. But I would come find you if you were like, I'm going to Paris. I'd be like, cool, I will be coming, and I'll go to your restaurant or wherever. So let's talk about money for a sec, because Jamila, when you had them on originally, y'all had been talking about, I think, Roth IRAs y'all had opened. Shayna was trying to get in, start investing. If you don't mind, what do you think? How do you think we should do it, Jamila? Just like, what kind of financial update do we need?
So I think it'd be maybe just a quick background. You kind of said a lot, but I want to maybe talk about just, as you know, Mandy, you talk about money. You have friends, real friends and family in real life, right? Who maybe listen, maybe don't listen to your stuff, and other people who don't know you at all and then like listen and take your advice. And while I do think they take my advice, I still think they're, they have their own priorities and things that they want to do. And so I feel like for the longest, I was telling them, like, invest, like, I don't care how little it is, open a Roth IRA, especially because both of them at that time were even, I think, had less stability with income. And so I knew that it wasn't going to be easy, but I felt like, okay, you could do something, right? And so I was just inspiring them, hopefully, to do that. And so I think at that last episode, they started to, or what, like, they had started to do that. And, I continue to tell them, but I try not to give too big sis energy where like I am making it seem like they're failing if they don't. But I am like, hey, if you have a question, you can always call me. And I remember the one time Imani, like she had put money into her Roth IRA and then she didn't look at it, like forgot all about it. I think she looked at it like a year or two later and she saw the value increased. And she was like, wait, you were right. I'm like, yes, I was, and I am. And Imani was actually recently on my podcast because she came over, not about money. She was just hanging out with us. And then, but money started to come up and I asked her, about her debt and credit card debt and her Roth IRA. And so I actually recorded that conversation. That's when she was on the podcast about her updates, because she did do some amazing things that she can share. And I'm sure Shayna can share about following through with their financial goals, because even though I know that there's a little bit of instability and they're still working on, especially Shayna, establishing themselves with their career, is that they're still fairly young and time is of the essence. And so when they are a little bit older, I want them to know, like, this is, you set yourself up to have even more stability for your future self. And so let's not just like let that time squander away. Let's, do the right things to put you in a great place in the future.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Imani, do you want to talk about what you did like with your finances that you feel proud of? And then Shayna, you can go next.
Yeah, I think when we was on the podcast, we were talking and I went ahead and I cleared my whole entire credit card bill, like just one time. And again, let's point this out. The fact that I am in a position to do that is a celebration moment. Mm-hmm. Let's celebrate that. And I think I should have called you and give you the update, Jamila, but yeah, the credit score went.
How many points? It was probably like 50 points, right?
No, I think I went up. No, I think it was like I went up like 62 points or something like that.
That'll do it.
That will do it.
Do you mind saying how much you paid off?
Yeah, it was $5,400.
Girl, that is not even that much. I thought you were gonna be like 57. Americans
love our
credit card debt.
For me, 5,000 on a credit card, yes. I mean, when you have a sister like Jamila, 5,000 I think is like over budget too. That's over budget.
Especially when she had the money. I have a friend who actually also took my advice and actually paid off her credit card. Like, they have the money, but they just don't want. They're like, I screw the credit card company. Like, they think that they're doing something to the credit card company by not paying.
No, I just didn't want to let go. Like,
right, no. And that I get that. Yeah. You want to hold on to the cash. You never know, right? But she had enough to where she still had a buffer. So I said, it's better you paid off. But yes, the fact that like she was able to do that in one setting just shows you like how much she built up herself financially, and I'm so proud of that.
Yes.
Yes, and I will just say, I hope that 5,000 continues being way too much debt, because I'm just so used to hearing like 15, 20, 35, $50,000 credit card debt. And, in this country, I just feel like it's so easy, and like we're taking on so much more debt now, but, kudos.
I think for me, like, especially again, like having a sister like Jamila, like, why I take like the financial advice very serious from her, right? And I don't use nothing on my credit card that I don't have to pay right away. So if I can't pay it, I'm not spending it. And that's how I treat my credit card. Like, even though they keep secretly increasing the amount, I'm not paying attention to that. I just spend what I could pay back right away.
Yeah. Amazing. All right, Shayna, you're the baby of the family. What you got going on? You said you're under 30. You're not 30 yet?
No, I am 28. I turned 29 in August.
You guys are so genetically gifted. It's insane. All right, but go ahead.
Which is insane, listening to the episode when I said I was 24. And I was like, oh.
You were just like,
yeah. I know. I think COVID really shifted our ages. Like, I don't even, mid-20s feels like a blur because of COVID. That I feel like I went in early beginning, I left late, and I was like, wait.
That's how my early 30s feel.
On? Because of my discipline, I had savings saved up so that I was able to have a little bit of a buffer in this time period of not working as much. And I think that's why the discipline is so important. One, because besides student loan debt, I don't have credit card debt. And I think I've been having more candid conversations with friends, and you would be surprised, Mandy, you're right. People have a lot of credit card debt. Mm-hmm. So for me, even though I'm not in a period where I'm able to save and invest as much as I would like to, and I'm honest about that, I am really grateful that I don't have the debt, because I'm able to manage my money in a way where I'm like, okay, this is where I am now. And I realize at the end of the day, sometimes you could save and invest as much as you want. It's an income issue. So if you're able to increase that, then you're able to have a lot more of a gap to pay for things you want. So my biggest thing right now is don't live above your means. And then you talk to people on the inside and you realize, wait, you have 5, 6 figure or 4 or 5 figure debt. And then you're like, wow, okay, we need to have more honest conversations because this is really happening. And you might feel like you have to keep up with people, but it's better to live within your means if it means that you're not accumulating debt all the time.
Yeah, and I want to say too, like, knowing the season of life you're in is so important. And it doesn't matter, your age can play a factor, but meaning, yes, whether you're building your career phase and investing in yourself, right? There are some times we're going to be investing in education. We are just going to be making it because there's other ways in which we're spending our time, energy, and money outside of investing in a retirement account, right? And so I just feel like you can't measure your points of life that you're in with other people when you have no clue of all the inputs and factors that make their life, whether that they have kids, they're taking care of someone else in their family, they're changing careers, like their income is obviously like the driving factor to accomplishing a lot of the financial goals that we have. It's the thing, right? Obviously expenses are important, but it's really income. So if you're in a low income season.
Yeah. And Shayna, I feel like in that career path as a coach and therapist, like your life experiences and the fact that you've shown that you've done the things that you're going to encourage your clients to do. And I think that makes me a stronger coach. And I feel like it makes you a stronger coach. And
right. Absolutely. And you know that things are a give and take. If I wanted to go the corporate route, I might have been in a different place right now. But would I have been awarded the flexibility and the joy and the different things that I have now? Who knows? So in knowing that there's so many different paths that you can take, or I could have stayed at that fitness job and probably continued to excel in it. But I had to check in with my gut and realize that I was no longer happy there. So I had to make a shift. So sometimes you may be able to get the income you desire, but then when you lay your head or you lay down at night, you realize, oh, but I'm not really fulfilled. And some people don't mind that. Like, that's why you have to check in with yourself. Some people say a job is a job. It pays the bills. It doesn't have to make me happy. That's fine. Some people don't operate like that. You just have to know what season you're in and what you prioritize.
Well, I wish I could just be a part of this sister circle for longer, but we gotta stop. We gotta end, but we gotta wrap up. I want to wrap up by first asking y'all, Shayna, Imani, where can we find y'all? What Instagram handles you want to plug? Imani, how are we going to book you for catering? Even though you might say no, and we love that for you. Imani, you go first.
You can find me. My Instagram handle is at yardchef45. The yard is just a short name. That's how we say Jamaica.
Is it not Yada Chef? Why is it Yada Chef in my head?
No, yard as in like, instead of yard as in Y-A-R-D, it's yard as in the pot one, Y-A-A-D. So it's YAADCHEF_45.
All right. We'll put that in the show notes. Perfect.
Perfect.
And you want us to book for your DMs? You don't have like
yes,
a booking
yes,
page?
yes,
Okay.
yes. Directly through the DMs.
So you can find me on Instagram and also on TikTok at Shaina.McGregor. So my first name dot my last name. You can also find my wellness community and brand Inward Space at inward.space on Instagram. I also have a website, ShaynaMcGregor.com. At the top of the year, I created a free breathwork program. It's a 7-day nervous system recharge. It's 7 days of pre-recorded videos, so you can find that on my website. There's a little announcement bar at the top to sign up. Especially they're like 8 to 15 minutes, so they're not long, and it's a wonderful way to get introduced to my brand.
So my book, Your Journey to Financial Freedom, you can buy it anywhere books are sold. You can also go to yourjourneytofinancialfreedom.com. I'm also doing something pretty cool that I think is cool. I created discussion guides around the book so you can start your own book club, whether it's by yourself, with family or friends. And these discussion guides give you prompts, takeaways, really allow you to take what you're learning in the book and really encourage you to implement what you're learning. So you can go to journeytolaunch.com/book club to get more information about that. Or again, you can go to yourjourneytofinancialfreedom.com. That's the direct book site. And then, of course, wherever you're listening to this podcast, you can check out Journey to Launch podcast. And I'm on social media at Journey to Launch and at Jamila Souffrant.
The brands are strong. All right. Well, I'll make myself an honorary sister, and y'all's we'll come up with a new band name.
It can still be Destiny Child. There was 4 of them at one point.
That's true.
Yeah, they started out as 4.
But who's going to be the one that got kicked out? Like, I don't want to put that juju in there.
Well, we all know who Beyonce is. I got the Beyonce.
Please,
we don't know. Oh, we do know. Oh. Then who's Michelle and who's Kelly? Because they're both equally fantastic.
This is true. This is why we got to be our own, because then
I mean, I'm just glad to be part of the group. I'm just here.
So you're Michelle. Done. Thank you. You're answering my question. All right. Thank y'all.
Breath.
Oh, you want to end with a deep breath? Okay.
Yes.
Are y'all open to that?
Oh, yes. I love that.
Why not?
My 5-year-old just walked in, so yeah, I need it.
Yeah, we're
Let's
gonna
go.
need it. I'm about to pick my kids up. I'm going to be picking my kids up. Auntie Imani's coming with me. She's in my house recording this upstairs. We're gonna pick the kids up, so we need some peace before we get them.
Oh, this is wonderful.
Go,
okay, everyone, just sit up tall, ground your sit bones into your seat, open up your collarbones, close your eyes down, and if you would like, place your hands over your stomach. You know, we just cultivated so much energy during this podcast episode, bringing our voices together. Take a deep inhale in, filling up your belly as if it was a balloon, pressing your belly button in towards your hands. And then a big exhale out. Let's take that 2 more times. Inhale in, allowing your belly to inflate, dropping your shoulder blades down. As you exhale, pressing your belly button back towards your hands. Now this last one, seal your lips. Inhale and exhale through your nose. Inhale in. And a big exhale out. We can flutter our eyes open.
Oh.
It feels so
Shayna,
good.
I'm gonna call you after this, all right, girl?
See, look, it's important.
No, you got to go to her website and get the course, and get the little freebie. 18,
Okay,
15 minutes.
Yes, we hold so much stress in our bodies. It's so important to have
Yes.
outlets to release. Yeah.
Yeah, Chef Imani, what's going on back there? I want my creme brulee, and you'll be like, I'm sorry, I'm just centering myself, you little
Yeah, just
maniacs. Leave me alone.
Right.
All right. Y'all are amazing. Thank you, Jamila, for making it happen.
Don't forget, you can get the episode show notes for this episode by going to journeytolaunch.com or click the description of wherever you're listening to this. And you can still grab your Jumpstart Guide for free to help you on your journey to financial freedom by going to journeytolaunch.com/jumpstart. If you want to support me and the podcast and love the free content and information that you get here, here are 4 ways that you can support me and the show. 1, make sure you're subscribed to the podcast wherever you listen, whether that's Apple Podcasts, that purple app on your phone, your Android device, YouTube, Spotify, wherever it is that you happen to listen, just subscribe so you are not missing an episode. And if you're happening to listen to this in Apple Podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe there. I appreciate and read every single review. Number 2, follow me on my social media accounts. I'm at Journey to Launch on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and I love interacting with journeyers there. 3, support and check out the sponsors of this show if you hear something that interests you. Sponsors are the main ways we keep the podcast lights on here, so show them some love for supporting your girl. 4, and last but not least, share this episode, this podcast with a friend or family member or coworker so that we can spread the message of Journey to Launch. All right, that's it. Until next week, keep on journeying, journeyers.